and welcome to another video on project management. In this video, we are going to talk about an introduction to Agile, the Agile values and Agile principles. So these are the different topics that we are going to talk about. The Agile umbrella, Agile methodologies, the waterfall model, waterfall versus Agile, the Agile manifesto and the Agile principles, and when to use waterfall versus Agile. So this is the Agile umbrella, which comprises a lot of lightweight frameworks like Scrum, Lean, DSDM, test-driven development, Kanban, Crystal, feature-driven development, XP, etc. So when you talk about Agile, it combines the frameworks from all these lightweight technologies. So you can have Scrum as well as Kanban, and it's sometimes called Scrumban. Lean, which minimizes waste. Then you have test-driven development. You have Crystal and XP. So these are the different lightweight frameworks under this Agile umbrella. So they are collectively sometimes referred to as the Agile methodologies. The waterfall approach came out in the year 1970, and it was originally defined by Winston Royce. And it quickly gained support from managers because everything flows linearly and logically from the beginning to the end. So you have here the requirements flowing into the design, then the implementation, then the verification, and the maintenance. So there is a strong dependency between the different phases. And after the end of every phase, usually there is a review. So this is how the waterfall system is designed. So this is the waterfall versus the Agile. So here you have in the waterfall, you have a linear flow from the beginning to the end. Whereas in an Agile, it is more of an iteration, it's more of different sprints or iterations to get to the end of the project. Here, waterfall is sometimes referred to as the traditional or the predictive type of framework. And here you have the iterative framework, which is Agile or adaptive framework. In the predictive or waterfall method, you have to wait till the end of the project to see any results or working software. Whereas in the Agile setup, after every iteration, you have a minimum viable product or a working software to demonstrate to the customer. So this is the manifesto that came out in the year 2001 for Agile. Here you have a preamble which states that we are uncovering better ways of developing software by doing it and helping others to do it. Through this, we have come to value. And here, these are the values of Agile. Individuals and interactions over processes and tools. That is the first one. The second one is working software over comprehensive documentation. The third one is customer collaboration over contract negotiation. And finally, you have responding to change over following a plan. So while there is value on the items, in the items on the right, we value the items on the left more. So that is what it states. So this is a list of people who had actually signed this manifesto in the year 2001. Next, we come to the 12 Agile principles. And I like this visual story, credit to Olga Heisman. So in the first principle is about satisfying the customer through early and continuous delivery. So in this method, we have a very close collaboration with the customer, wherein we try to give a minimum viable product at the end of every iteration to the customer. There is a demo. The second principle is about welcoming change, even late in the development. So change is welcome. The third is delivering working software frequently. So there is time to market and frequent delivery. The fourth is about business people and developers must work together. This is about collaboration. The fifth principle comes about building projects around motivated individuals. So give them all the support that you need, remove any impediments in their progress, and trust them to get the work done. This is the way that the fifth principle revolves around. The sixth one is about face-to-face conversation. The most efficient and effective method of conveying information is face-to-face rather than through email or any other messaging method. The seventh one is about working software is the primary measure of progress. So working software means you have something of value towards the end of every iteration so that you can demo to the customer that this is our minimum viable proposition or prototype. The eighth principle is about maintaining a constant pace so that your team is not actually tired or at the end of an iteration, so that you maintain a constant velocity so that they can produce the same type of story points in every iteration. So the constant pace is the principle, the eighth principle. The next principle is about excellence, continuous attention to technical excellence. So continuous learning and improvement. Then you have the next principle about simplicity, keeping things simple, maximizing the amount of work not done. The next principle is about self-organizing teams. So in such a setup, you have teams that are proactive and they know their responsibilities. They don't have to be told what to do every day, but they rather self-organize themselves and get the work done. Finally, it's about how the team reflects on becoming more effective. So this is more about the retrospective meeting in Agile, where you have the team reflecting on how to do things better and become more effective. So these are the 12 principles of Agile. Next, we see what is the difference between Agile, Waterfall and Agile. So in the Waterfall system, what you have is the planning is done upfront. So the scope is more or less defined. Whereas in Agile, the planning is done iteratively. That's called sometimes as rolling wave planning or progressive elaboration. Next, changes to project scope are discouraged in the beginning in Waterfall, whereas the Agile you have, which is adaptable to changes in scope. The timeline is predetermined in Waterfall, whereas Agile uses short iterations to deliver value rapidly. Waterfall requires the completion of all tasks before you can deliver the product, whereas in Agile, each iteration you have a minimum viable product, at least that you can demo to the customer. The roles are usually assigned in Waterfall, whereas in Agile, you have a self-organizing team structure. Then in Waterfall, you have a simple scope and requirement gathering, whereas in Agile, it is more complex. In Waterfall, you have a clear and linear sequence of tasks, whereas in Agile, you have frequent iterations and refinements. In Waterfall, you have predictable deliverables based on set deadlines, whereas here in Agile, you have rapid delivery times. In Waterfall, it is a structured process with rigid quality control, whereas in Agile, it is emerging requirements and you have a collaborative environment. So in Waterfall, you have long-term commitment from all parties. And here in Agile, you have multiple stakeholders to take care of. So let us test your understanding of the concepts here now. Let us come to this first question. Which of the following is not an Agile value? So the answer A says individuals and interactions over processes and tools. B, comprehensive documentation over working software. C, customer collaboration over contract negotiation. And D, responding to change over following a plan. So here you can pause the video for some time and think over the question properly before you answer the question. So here you have to read the question carefully. It says, which of these is not an Agile value? So if you see clearly, A, C, and D are directly from the manifesto, whereas this B, comprehensive documentation of working software, is not something which is mentioned. It is the reverse. So this is the odd one out. So B is the answer. Next question. Anna is mentoring a team of young engineers and helping them understand project management. One day she explains to them that as soon as the increment is done and ready, delivery must be done. Delivery should be continuous and should be time boxed. The delivery of the increment should satisfy the customer and must be the highest priority of the Agile team. Which of the following Agile principles is Anna referring to? A, welcoming changing requirements even late in development. Agile processes harness change for the customer's competitive advantage. B, our highest priority is to satisfy the customer through early and continuous delivery of valuable software. C, business people and developers must work together daily throughout the project. And D, working software is the primary measure of progress. So here you can pause the video, think over the question, read it carefully, and then answer the question. So if you have read carefully, you can see in the question, it states delivery should be continuous and should be time boxed. So it is talking about the continuous delivery principle. So here, if you look, you can safely strike away choice A, C, and D, which is not talking about delivery. The only option which is talking about continuous delivery is actually choice B. So B is the right answer. Come to the next question. From the following, select a common Agile framework or methodology. So this is a direct question talking about the lightweight frameworks under Agile. And if you have seen that slide carefully about the Agile umbrella, you will note that there is only one of, is it static system development method, dynamic product development method, dynamic systems development method, or extreme systems development method? You can pause the video, think over the question, and then answer it. So here the right answer is dynamic systems development method. We come to the next question. Hansen and his team are using a framework in their Agile effort where the team follows a prescriptive 5-step process that is managed and tracked from the perspective of the product features. Which framework is Hansen's team incorporating in its Agile effort? Is it defect-driven development, test-driven development, acceptance test-driven development, or feature-driven development? You can pause the video here, think over the question, read it carefully, and answer. So here, if you have read carefully, this is talking about product features. And so the right answer should be feature-driven development. So you can easily strike off A, B, or C because they're talking about different other developments. The last question is, in which framework are core roles categorized as the following three? Product owner, scrum master, and development team. Is it in extreme programming, in Scrum, lean software development, or Agile unified process? You can pause the video here, think over, read the question carefully, and then answer. So this is a very straightforward question about these three roles: product owner, scrum master, and development team. And you can easily strike off options A, C, and D. And the right answer is again B, which is Scrum. So I hope you like this video on introduction to Agile, the Agile values, Agile principles, and the quick quiz. If you like it, please hit the like button and subscribe. Thank you very much.